Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today we've got a review on the Sofirn SC32, which comes in two different options. So we're going to cover the specs on both those options, and then we're going to look at 10 reasons why you should purchase this light. And then at the end of the video, we will do beam shots. So to jump straight in, we're going to look at the first option, which is your main option that you see. When you look it up, it's just the Sofirn SC32, and that emitter choice is going to be the SST40, which is what I have this light in. I definitely just knocked over my phone, so editing this in now. All right, so we are looking at the SST4 option, and what we're looking at with this is this model right here, which is what I have, SST40 emitter, which is your regular version that it comes in at $30.99 on the Sofirn website. So you're looking at $31, that's without battery. You can add $2 for battery. And they're also offering 20% off. So you're looking at around $25 for this light, so it's significantly cheaper than a lot of the competition out there. In SST40, you can get two different color temperature options, 5000K or 6500K. So 5000K is going to be more of a neutral white. It's right in that fine line between neutral and cold. A little bit more neutral though. And then 6500K, that is going to be a more cool white. So in that, we're looking at 2000 lumens max turbo. I have seen some reviews that said that it did not hit a full 2000 lumens. I don't have a tester, but if it comes a couple hundred lumens short of that on turbo, it's likely not going to be visible to the naked eye. But we're going to go with the specs listed that it's 2000 lumens turbo, and that it's 1 lumen on moonlight mode. And runtime, you're looking at 1.9 hours total of turbo, and that's not actually your turbo that's running for 1.9 hours. That is, it initially starts on turbo, and by the time that it steps down and turns completely off, you get 1.9 hours out of it. So almost 2 hours from starting on turbo. If on moonlight mode, it will start and stay on moonlight mode for 500 hours before it shuts off. And it goes for a max distance of around 214 meters, which I've actually seen that it can go further than that, somewhere in the 250 meter range, but we're going to go at listed again, 214 meters at 11,000 candela. And so those are basically the basic specs that you can look at on getting an SST40. So they also make another option called the SC32 HCRI, which is high CRI. So the only difference in that light is the emitter. Everything else on the light is exactly the same, but the emitter is different. It comes, instead of an SST40, it comes with a 519A. So here's some of the specs on that. It comes in one color temp choice, which is 5000K. It comes in at $1 more expensive, so $31.99. But again, you can get 20% off right now from Sofirn, and that's something that they do fairly often. So I would say you're going to be able to get this light around $25, pretty standard, or at most $30. The lumen output's going to be less, so it hits around 1300 lumens. So 700 lumens listed difference there. Same one moonlight mode. You're getting 1.8 hour turbo and 500 hours moonlight mode again. One thing I want to point out is that medium mode is the mode that I usually like to see. Okay, what's my runtime on medium mode? Because that's what I'm most likely going to be running the light on the most, and you're going to have the least amount of step downs off of it. So medium on the SST40, the regular option, is 4.2 hours. Medium on the high CRI, the 519A, is 5.2 hours. So you do get an extra hour off that. That's kind of a big deal, but you do get a bit less output. Distance 174 meters, so you get a bit less on the distance the beam will throw, and 7,000 candela, so significantly less on the candela, which, if you're not sure, so your candela is basically, if you had one candela, that would be one candle power in a specific direction. So if you have 7,000 candela, you have 7,000 candle flames of power output going off in a specific direction. So that's why you'll see in a light that throws a tight, thin beam a long way more candela, because it's throwing more output out in a specific direction in one spot, whereas they may not have as high of lumens. Whereas something like what is it, the Ace Beam X75 has an insane amount of lumens because it's putting out a ton of flood light. So it's lighting up a lot of, it's putting out a lot of output in a wide area versus just a candle power in one specific area. So both lumens and candela are important though in an EDC light. So you like to get a good mix. So you're getting less lumens, less distance, and less output total out of the 519A. So what's the differences here? Why would you want to go with the 519A option? So here's some notes I have on the original, the SST40, is that it's often green. So if you get the normal Sofirn SC32, the biggest complaint that most people have with this specific model that I have here is that their beam is green, that it's often very green and kind of gross to look at. If that matters to you, you may not want to get the regular version. It's said that it could be an ugly beam, like the actual beam pattern of the SST40 coming out of this light, a lot of people think is an ugly looking beam. However, it's very bright. This is putting out, around 2,000 lumens out of a very small package. And additionally, though, it does have low CRI. If you're not familiar with CRI, it's color rendering index. The best way that I've ever had it explained to me is it's when you have enough output to light up a stick in front of you, your CRI tells you that when you look at it, if you have high CRI, you can actually determine that that was a snake and not a stick. Whereas with low CRI, the color rendering is so low, you can't make out exactly what you're looking at. It just looks like a stick to you. So it gives you, high CRI is going to give you a good natural color rendering to actually be able to make out what you're looking at and not just shine it bright with light. And there's plenty of pictures online if you look up high CRI versus low CRI contrast pictures. There's lots of stuff out there. People do photos with fruits and all kinds of different things to show a difference. So what I have though with this is, with my specific model, I did not get any green whatsoever in my beam. I don't notice any. It actually is one of my only lights that when I shine it on the wall, do wall balancing, whatever, I get a little bit of pink reflection from it. So I got so far on the other end. And that's why they call this a tint lottery when you get an SST40 emitter, because it's literally like winning the lottery in order to get a really good tint. So I basically won the tint lottery in the SC32 I got. So that's why it's difficult for me when I recommend this light to other people and they're arguing, well, that's not what my light looks like. And that's the problem. With this emitter, because it's a tint lottery, it's going to create where a lot of people are getting different looking lights, and often some are getting very, very gross looking light outputs. And also, you've got the low CRI. So yes, it's got high output, but it's got more than likely a green beam unless you win the tint lottery like I do, and low CRI. So what's the deal with the 519A then? It's kind of the opposite. You've got a really pretty beam to look at. It puts out just a good quality beam. It looks good. There's no green in it. It's got very high CRI, so you can make out what you're looking at, but it's got medium output. It doesn't have anything crazy on the output. You are going to lose a little bit of output stepping from the SST40 to the 519A. But there's a lot of pros and cons going on here. What I found is a majority of flashlight enthusiasts and hobbyist community that reviewed the SC32, received an SST40, did not like the emitter, and have gone on to give it poor reviews and to not give it another chance. What I'm getting at is, hey, if you did not win the tint lottery like I did and get a great beam and get a great color, go with the 519A. Get the HCRI option. It gives you basically everything that you're wanting in the light. The 519A is basically the best emitter out on the market right now when going for an EDC light, because it gives really just the best overall of everything. You only withdraw a little bit on output to get almost perfect everywhere else, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you should purchase the Sofirn SC32. And with that, that means either this model here or the HCRI model. Either way, 10 reasons why you should buy it. First, it's got a Fresnel lens. Check that out real quick. You can see those circles right there on the lens. That's called a Fresnel lens. So it's a unique lens. Most flashlights that you go to purchase are not going to have that lens, so it's something a little bit different. What it does is it allows a little bit more light output in a smaller lens. So by doing this, it allowed them to keep the lens so small. And I think that the camera, the video, has a hard time picking up just how small this light is, but it's tiny. And so the fact that it does that, I can get a great bit of output out of a small package because they do that Fresnel. So a couple other things to note though are that it does get a little bit of rings. You might be able to see it on the video, like there's one ring, there's two rings. You get a little bit of rings on the outside of your hotspot. If that matters to you, well, then you might not like this light. But you're not really going to notice it too much when you're actually shining it outside and you're lighting something up. You're not really noticing the rings. It's mainly just if you're bouncing it off the table or off the wall or whatever. So it allows for better output out of a smaller package. That's great to me because I want my light to be small if I'm going to be carrying it in my pocket. Reason number two, which kind of coincides with this, is the size. So the size, I'm actually going to compare some stats here to the Zebralight SC32 LE. And the reason why is because that is considered the go-to small 18650 battery flashlight. To be able to fit an 18650 battery in a package this small is pretty ridiculous. And so Zebralight basically got it in as small of a package as they possibly could while putting out a great light. So this length of this light is 3.9 inches top to bottom. The length on the Zebralight is 3.64 inches. So it's really close to being almost as small lengthwise. Also, the head diameter, 24.5 millimeters. The head diameter on the Zebralight, 24 millimeters. So it's so close, almost the same, 5 millimeter difference. And then we have without battery, 1.3 ounces on, I have written down 1.3 ounces on the Sofirn and 2 ounces on the Zebralight, but I think I might have that backwards. I'm pretty sure this is 2 ounces and the Zebralight's 1.3 ounces, if I remember correctly. Regardless, though, the point I'm trying to make here is that this light is tiny and you're getting a great package. You're getting a lot of output. And if you go with the 519A, you're getting a pretty much perfect emitter out of a small package for, significantly less money. The Zebralight runs for $74. Yes, it does offer some durability options that this doesn't have, but the Sofirn is significantly cheaper. But point being, you're getting a really small package. So that's point number two. Number three, again, the 18650 battery. Having an 18650 battery means that you're going to get a lot more runtime and out of what you would like, let's say, a AA battery, or a 14500. And this isn't too far away from being the size of a 14500 light or maybe even an 18350. Although this is longer and thinner. But anyways, so you're getting a great battery in a small package. Point number four is the cost. You're looking at around $25 to $30. And as somebody who enjoys pocket knives, to be able to get a good quality pocket knife for $25 to $30 is almost unheard of. I mean, there's like the Ontario Rat. That's about it. Like down there, you're pretty much looking at throwaway knives. So this right here is a light that you can rely on. And I can tell you that because I got it as soon as it hit the Amazon market in November of 2022. So I think that's around 8 months ago. And I carry this all the time. I use it all the time. And it has held up really great. And I use it a lot. I don't just carry it, I use it. Okay, so now we are on to the fifth reason, which is the bezel. It's literally the perfect bezel. For me, an EDC light has to have a bezel, or at least I really desire for it to, because if I drop the light, I don't want it to just shatter the lens. It's got a little bit of protection, and also this one even has a little bit of points to it. It's not super smooth, so it actually, if I needed to use it as a bezel, it actually has a little bit of purpose without being all rounded off and smooth and being pointless. But it's not so serrated, it's not so sharp that it eats through my pockets or anything. Perfect bezel. I absolutely love the bezel, mainly because it's great for drop protection. Next point being this has the best electronic tail switch on the market. I'm willing to stick by that. When I first got this light, I thought, well, it's a good tail switch, you know. But as I've been using it for 8 months, this is the best tail switch on the market for an electronic tail switch. It's the Workos TS10 tail switch, but enlarged. It's so good. It's so much better. It feels so good to click. I mean, this thing is perfect. Moving on, we have the clip. This is a two-way pocket clip. You can clip it to your hat right there. It's a quality clip. It's really good. The only thing is mine came loose from Amazon, and I had to tighten it a little bit. But outside of that, it's a great clip. And if you're going to be carrying it every day, you should have a good clip. Next up, the matte finish on it. So this is different than the normal diamond knurling that Sofirn does on their lights. But this matte, it looks so good, especially even in person. It's really aesthetically pleasing. It's a great looking light, but it feels great. And it's got this little bit of knurling here. And it's really good to be able to grip onto. I can keep my grip on it. It feels good. I really, really enjoy the matte finish on this. And to be honest, it even feels like a more expensive light than what it is. Okay, next point is the USB-C charging. So as you can see, this is really non-intrusive. I have found so many lights that have these big rubber flaps that stick out that constantly I accidentally end up flipping them up. This does not have that. This is so out of the way. It's tiny. It's got this nice little light here that tells you green, you know, if you still got a good battery, or red if your battery's low. But it's really out of the way, and it's got USB-C recharging. And I know that that's really important to a lot of people, and it is to me as well. So USB-C charging, and it's not intrusive. And then last point is the simple UI. So you turn it on, you've got low, medium, high, low, medium, high. So it's really basic if you just want to stick to that. Or you can hold it down and go straight to moonlight mode. Or you could even 1, 2, 3, 4. You could put this light, oh, I accidentally just hit it maybe 3 times. That was strobe mode. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, so when it's on, what I just did was I turned it onto ramp mode. Or I can, while it's on, click it 4 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And now it's stepped ramping mode. So if you like it on a just smooth ramp up and down, you can do that. Or you can switch it to a stepped ramp mode. But from off is actually what I was trying to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I just did was I put the light on lockout mode, which means this light can't accidentally be turned on. I hear some people say they don't like electronic tail switches because they can accidentally turn it on in their light. Well, you can just put it on lockout mode. But my point is here, when you have it on lockout mode, if you hold it down, you have momentary moonlight mode. So you can actually hold it down to get its lowest setting if that's what you'd prefer to do. And now I'm going to hit it 3 times and turn it back to normal. Okay, and now it's off of lockout mode. So it's got really simple UI. It's a basic low, medium, high, or you can switch it to turbo. It's got a strobe mode. You can do a moonlight mode, and heck, you can even do a lockout momentary moonlight mode, and you can switch between a stepped ramping or a smooth ramping. So these are 10 reasons why I think that you should purchase an Sofirn SC32, why it's a great EDC light. And next up, we'll do the beam shots. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to try not to wake the neighbors up here, but here we're outside, and I'm going to kick it onto low, medium, high, and then let's switch to turbo. And back to low, medium, high. Hey, so I was trying not to be too loud with the neighbors out there. It's a little bit easier to talk here in the room, but I'm wall bouncing a bit here, and I'm going to do the wall bounce off of low, medium, and high. Medium, high. Low, medium, high. And it still doesn't look like it's coming through that great over camera, but I can tell you in person, it gives off a very pinkish tint to the wall. I'm not getting any green at all in person. Over the camera though, I'm not really seeing the paint come through, but hopefully you could see out on the backyard, it has a really great beam profile, even with the SST40 in my opinion. But if you have any concerns about it whatsoever, just go with the HCRI, the 519A, and get it in a great beam profile, one that you know isn't going to be green, and it has just a great output. Thanks for watching.